new Chucky trailer just dropped for season 2, so I'm gonna go over it all. I'm gonna analyze it because, well, that's my f***ing job. So right off the bat here, you can see that Jake is a little bit older, and it really makes me glad that they got this season going and made this next season in under a year. Really good planning on their part. When you're dealing with a show that has kid actors, one of the problems that sometimes comes up is they just grow up really quickly, and it takes a long time to make a show, and then they end up looking older, and it just doesn't work. It's not believable. But they did a good job of getting this thing started really quickly. I'm gonna go through the trailer now.
What ever happened to Chucky?
Jake, where the hell are you? You're the only one I can talk to about what really happened.
It's been a really...
So we saw a little bit of Lexi being on drugs in the first one, but it wasn't a big part of her character. It looks like she's getting into some more serious stuff here, so I'm guessing that's going to be a bigger part of the storyline. This part is honestly kind of disappointing. In my Things You Missed in Chucky Season 1 video, which I will link right here, I talked about how in the series they kind of erased the goth aspect of Tiffany's character, and it seems like that's even more erased now because she looks like super, like everything's pink, super girly girl stuff going on right here. Hashtag end goth erasure, or hashtag stop goth erasure. I don't know which one I used. So here we can see Caroline and Lexi, and Caroline appears to be in some kind of costume, and Lexi is being confronted by a police officer. Not sure what that's about yet. And in this shot, we see Halloween decorations. This kid on the left is a costume. This may be the younger version of Charles Lee Ray that we saw last season, but the trailer is really low quality. I don't know why production companies and streaming services and stuff upload low quality trailers on YouTube. Like you can see right here, I have it set to 1080p. I have it set to the highest quality that they offer, and it still looks terrible. And I just don't get it, because you can upload high quality stuff to YouTube. You've been able to for years, and time after time these companies just choose not to do it. Aside from that rant, yeah, this may be part of a flashback to Charles Lee Ray's youth again, but regardless, it looks like Halloween is going to be a big part of this season again, which I'm always glad to see. I love I love anything related to Halloween, the holiday.
Miss Cross, Mr. Evans, and Mr. Wheeler.
Do you know why you're here?
I know your history.
So this, I believe this is Devon Sawa playing his third character in the series. For those who aren't familiar, he played Jake's dad, who was killed in the first episode, and then he played Jake's uncle, who was killed in, what was it, episode 7? So it looks like there may be another brother, and as we can see, he's part of a church, so there's going to be some religious themes in this one. So I have a few thoughts about this, actually. In season 1, one of the big themes was gay relationships. It was something that we saw mostly with the relationship between Jake and Devon, and it seemed like Jake's father had a heterosexist outlook towards his son's sexuality. So this is something that was pretty prevalent throughout season 1. And the series creator Don Mancini has spoken about how that relationship was personal for him because he had a similar experience growing up, at least in his teen years, as a gay man. So in the last season, we saw Jake in a family situation in a household that really didn't accept his lifestyle as being gay. And now we see him going to a religious school. And as you may know, homosexuality is something that is often not accepted in religious institutions. Obviously, that doesn't speak for all religions, but that is generally the way it goes. So I imagine this storyline is another one that is personal for series creator Don Mancini. The other thing that was even bigger that I talked about in my Things You Missed in Chucky Season 1 video is the fact that that whole season was kind of a tribute to Child's Play 2, whether it be the story, the way that certain things were designed, or specific callbacks and Easter eggs to the second movie. Now, the fact that this seems to take place at a religious boarding school makes me think that this third season is going to be more of a tribute to the third Child's Play movie, which of course also takes place at a boarding school. It takes place at Andy's military academy.
When do we get to start stabbing people?
We can see this is the truck, the USX truck that Andy stole at the end of season 1. That truck was, of course, filled with a bunch of Chucky dolls in the back, which were set to be shipped out to children's hospitals across the country. Now, in this shot, we can see that the dolls seem to have escaped onto the top of the truck. So it looks like we will be seeing more of that Andy storyline. I didn't see any appearances of Kyle this season, even though my theory is that she is still alive, but there is a clue later on that I'm going to get to. That might be a little bit of a Kyle connection.
I need Tiffany to get what's coming to her.
Glenda, come to
Mama.
So obviously we're going to see the return of Glenn and Glenda from the heavily maligned seed of Chucky. This was heavily alluded to in season 1, where both Chucky and Tiffany made reference that they still have kids somewhere around in this universe. So it looks like they're going to come back as characters this time. Another interesting note about this shot is that Tiffany is wearing both a top and skirt with cherries on them. I don't know if there's actually any significance, like maybe Tiffany just likes cherries now, but I do remember there was a scene from season 1 where she's also wearing cherries. It was the scene where she brings the Swedish meatballs and meets Junior out front of the house to give it to him. I guess Tiffany's wardrobe, though no longer goth, will be something to keep an eye on this season.
Let go.
Dear sweet godmother of Hail Mary, Jesus.
Okay, so this is what I alluded to a little bit earlier. We see, again, like terrible video quality from the upload. You can see Glenn and Glenda's car in the background here. I'm assuming this is the religious school, and I'm assuming that this is Lexi, but I can't really tell for sure. But if you look at the hat, it does look like the hat that Kyle was wearing last season, and obviously she originated wearing that in Child's Play 2. We also saw it in Cult of Chucky.
This is for Kyle!
So Andy has that line, "This is for Kyle," which means theoretically that he's avenging her, but it's possible that she is still alive and he just doesn't know it yet. All right, and then in this shot, we see what appears to be, like, I don't know, one of the teachers maybe from the religious academy kind of coming out in his robes, and then we see people running in the foreground as if there's been some kind of Chucky altercation that's happened in the night. And this actually reminds me a lot of Child's Play 2, where Andy is sent to the foster home near the end of the movie, and Chucky comes from there, and Chucky ends up pulling the fire alarm, I think, and they all have to evacuate the building. And then right here, which looks like that same location we saw earlier outside of the academy, perhaps, we see Nika, I think. Again, terrible quality, but it looks like she is somehow able to get around. We can see that she still doesn't have arms, and obviously she probably doesn't have legs, so I don't know, is somebody carrying her? Does she now have some kind of vehicle that helps her get around? What is going on with Nika here?
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna pray? Just looking at me is scary enough to give you a heart attack? Oh my God, thank you.
Earlier, I mentioned that this season might be more of an homage to Child's Play 3, and this is actually something that happens in Child's Play 3. Chucky is moving around the academy at night, and a character named Colonel Cochran sees him in his office and has a heart attack and dies. So technically, Chucky should not be that surprised that somebody looked at him and got a heart attack, because that's already happened before.
Subscribe, damn it.